So he took. Oh, morning. You can start me. Go ahead and start, but do slow.
Sorry?
Yeah, but do slow. Yeah. Yeah. I printed out 2 copies, and can you do it double-sided? Do you want me? Do you know how to do double-sided?
Yeah.
Okay, I printed them out. They should be on the printer right now.
Okay, good deal.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Namandam, 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 namandam. Good morning. Welcome back. Really special day today to have our Sangha here in the Hondo. So welcome back for those of you who came, and welcome everyone online for those who are viewing on YouTube. So we'd like to begin our Dharma Family Service with chanting of Juseige, and the words will appear on the screen, and they should be on your handout if you're here. Namandam, 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 namandam. い三害よ如仏無下知津脱未不詳願学へ陸投資最小尊志願や国家大戦を感動国書天人東宇珍妙慶南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏願にしくどく平等性祭道本も大神往生安楽南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏 Okay, please remain seated for the three treasures, which should be on the other side of the sheet if you're here, and we'll have it up on the screen. The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. Okay, thank you. Welcome once again to our Dharma Family Service. And I'm not used to looking up here. I'm used to just looking here. So I'm going to have to try and adjust, back and forth. But we're still online too. So for people who aren't able to come, who may have started watching or who aren't ready to come back yet, we're still doing the online version as well. So this is really significant. Totally different. I'm not used to it yet, I can tell, but it was nice to hear the sounds of the city, for one thing, the fire truck and the ambulance and the police cars that went by, but then also the sounds of people in the Hondo chanting along with me, right? I've been doing pre-recorded or just me sitting here by myself in the Hondo, but this is what it's supposed to be like, right? This is, it's not, it can be solitary, but ideally it's everyone together, right? That we're all chanting together. And that's why I like to put the words to the chant on the screen too, because even if I can't hear you, if you're chanting at home, I think that's significant too. And I know that, if we think back 2 years ago, what has been 2 years and 2 weeks maybe, right? Really amazing to think that 2 years ago, all of a sudden, bam, church is closed. You can't come here. So who has books at home for chanting? Right? I think we're so used to being able to chant here, the books are here, so no one had them at home. And so that was one of the challenges, was being able to try and incorporate the people who are not here to still be able to chant. Because that recitation of the Buddha's words is just part of Buddhism. That's what Buddhists have done for centuries, for millennia, recite the Buddha's words. So that's actually touching on what I wanted to talk about, which is a question that came up recently, and is, what does it mean to be Buddhist? Right? What does it mean to be Buddhist? So one thing that I think unites many, many Buddhists is that we listen to the teachings of the Buddha, but we also recite them. Now, you might not realize it because it's in a foreign language. You might even think it's Japanese, but it's not. When we chant, like we did today, it's Chinese. We're doing it in Japanese pronunciation, but if you showed that to a Japanese person on the street, they probably couldn't read it, because it's not Japanese. It's in Chinese word order. It's actually closer to English. Believe it or not. English, subject, verb, object, right? I eat cake. Japanese, subject, object, verb. The verb comes last. Watashi wa keiki o tabemasu. Taberu is to eat. So in Japanese, you have to say the verb last. In English, we say it in the middle. Chinese is subject, verb, object, like English. So to me, Chinese seemed like such a foreign language, completely other. But when I've studied Buddhism, I realized, okay, actually, it's easier to read the Chinese into English than to do it into Japanese. To read it in Japanese, you have to jump around and actually change the character order. That's why if you show it to someone in Japan, they can't read it. It's out of order. But it's like English. So that reciting the Buddha's words is one part, but also listening to Buddha's words. Right? What's Buddha saying? And you might think, well, who cares? And hopefully it's because it has something to do with my life. Right? That Buddha's words aren't just like abstract theories. They might seem like it, or advertisements, right? Or just kind of boring history or something. No. Buddha's words are about life. How do I live my life? Right? What am I doing? Right? What's going on? Why do I do the things I do? Why do I blurt out the things I say? Right? Even sometimes when I want to be a certain way, I can't. Right? That I think, okay, I'm going to be kind and gentle. But something happens, someone pushes the right buttons, and all of a sudden I'm mad or being mean. Right? That's what Buddhism's about. Right? Buddhism is about, how do I live my life? And it says a lot about it, right? And so we hear about impermanence and interconnectedness and wisdom and compassion and all kinds of stuff. Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Paths, 6 Paramitas. I can go on and on and on and on. And it seems like a lot, but ultimately it's about, how do I live my life? And if I think back in my life, I think I kind of thought about this stuff, but I didn't really have any guidance because I wasn't brought up Buddhist, I wasn't brought up Christian, I wasn't brought up with any religion, just kind of American, right? Even when I was living in Japan, I went to American school, and so I was still getting a lot of kind of American messaging, right? But then when I got to college and first heard Buddhism, it was like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's telling me something about life, right? It's telling me something about how I can treat others. It's telling me something about why do I make the choices I make? What am I doing with my life? Right? So for me, encountering Buddhism just was like a light bulb going off, right? And realizing, wow, there's a whole fount of knowledge, right, that I can access to think about me. So I think, different Buddhist groups are very different, but one thing that maybe Temple gives us is the chance to be Buddhist with like-minded people. You don't have to be Buddhist to benefit from Buddhism. But if you get into it and you realize, wow, this is cool, then this is a place where you can do that, right? You can be Buddhist, but with other people who are being Buddhist. Right? So I think in that sense it's very special, because out in the general world, probably many people are not, I was going to say most, but I don't know that, but many people are not Buddhist, right? And so it can be kind of hard. Right? But here, we can be together, right? And we can be Buddhist together. Now, the thing that I really like about Jodo Shinshu, so we're a very specific school of Buddhism, right? We're Jodo Shinshu, this kind of Pure Land Buddhism. And so one thing I came up with, and I'm going to share it on the screen, so that people online can see. You can't see this, but they can. So that's one of the benefits of being at home. Right? You don't get to see this on the screen. It's not a big deal. BYB. It's not BYOB. Just leave out the O, right? BYB. Be Yourself Buddhism. Right? I think that that's a big part of what Jodo Shinshu is. Be Yourself Buddhism. But it's not just be yourself and who cares. It's a very special kind of be yourself. So I call it BYB in ABC. Okay, so you go, okay, he said something about bring your own something, right? No, that's not it. It's not BYOB, it's BYB, right? And then what was the next part? Oh, it's the first letters of the alphabet, ABC. Amida Buddha's compassion. Okay, so it's not just be yourself, no idea what I'm supposed to do. It's be yourself Buddhism in Amida Buddha's compassion. Right? So that it's not just a vacuum. Oh, here, for people online, there. Be yourself Buddhism in Amida Buddha's compassion. That I'm not myself just in a vacuum, that Amida Buddha's compassion is surrounding me. I'm embraced by Amida Buddha's compassion. It's actually Amida Buddha's compassion that allows me to be myself. So if you think I'm just making this up, I'm not, well, I don't think I am. I kind of made it up. But there are these kind of famous words that Shinran, our founder, heard from his teacher, Honen. So Shinran also didn't make all this stuff up in a vacuum. Shinran studied under Honen Shonin, this great master of, 12th, 13th century Japan. Right? And he would sit with him as people would come in. And so there's a story that Shinran writes in a letter to one of his disciples. This is what I heard the master say. This is what I heard my teacher Honen say. Persons of the Pure Land tradition attain birth in the Pure Land by becoming their foolish selves. Becoming their foolish selves. This is totally different than most other kinds of Buddhism, right? I think most other kinds of Buddhism say, fix yourself, perfect yourself, become a Buddha, become enlightened. Right? Get rid of anger, right? Get rid of desire, get rid of ignorance. Study, practice. Right? Go away for a week, go away for a month, right? Go away for your whole life, leave everyone else behind and become a monk or a nun and study, practice. That's what Shinran did for 20 years. But it didn't work for him. So instead, there is this teaching of Honen to become your foolish self, become your true self. desires, with ignorance, right? And yet with these ideals of wisdom and compassion. And so that's one thing we learn at Temple. What does Buddha teach about that? Kindness, right? Kindness to all beings, impermanence, interconnectedness, right? So we can learn about these things. We can study these things. And I think our lives are changed by it. Even if we don't memorize it, even if maybe we don't have a mind-blowing awakening experience and now I see everything's connected, right? That might not happen. And yet, my life has changed. Right? That who I am changes. And it's this path of being myself, and yet with Buddha's teachings, with Amida Buddha's compassion. Right? So it becomes kind of a balancing act. Right? It doesn't mean just be yourself and don't care. It means be myself, but with everyone else. Right? So I might get angry. It's okay. That's part of who you are. But you also have to realize, wow, but my anger wasn't just about me. It affected others. Right? That if I blew up at someone in line because they didn't move quick enough or something like that at the car wash or something like that, right? Maybe they can't hear. If I'm in a car, they can't hear me, so maybe it's okay. I'm just yelling at them, right? Hopefully my windows are shut, right? Maybe the clerk is looking at me like, what's wrong with this guy, right? But being out in the world is actually the place where all this stuff happens, right? Whether it's on your sports team or at school or at work or at church or at home, right? All those interactions that I have, all those experiences that I have, the interactions maybe are the most important part. That's for me to learn, right? That's where be myself, but also learning, also reflecting. So in some ways it's easy. You don't have to memorize anything. Well, you kind of have to memorize Namo Amida Butsu, right? Because that's part of it. Namo Amida Butsu, right? That's an important part. Without that, it doesn't work, right? So we're saying Namo Amida Butsu, but we're just living our everyday lives. And you don't have to memorize the 6 paramitas or the Eightfold Path or any of that kind of thing. But we do have to live our lives. Right? And I think we're brought to reflect on our lives. Right? And by reflecting on our lives, maybe we realize more the impact we have on others. Maybe more importantly, realize the impact everyone else has had on me, especially loved ones, family, Dharma friends, right? Temple members. That this, and that's what makes this place special, right? That we can do this process, but it's with other people who are walking the same path, right? So that then when we go out into the general world and interact with other people, it's not just me against the world. It becomes, whoa, this is where it comes alive. This is where the rubber hits the road, out in the regular life with other people who maybe aren't Buddhist. But then I can come back here on Sunday and recharge with my fellow Buddhists, right? My Sangha here at Buddhist Church of Oakland. So welcome back. Thank you very much. I hope you had, I've been running around trying to keep everything set up and keep things running, so I didn't have much chance to hang out with you, but I saw people hanging out downstairs and talking, and that's part of all of this, right? It's such an essential part, and so we're really glad that you can be back here and we can do this together. And thank you everyone online. I'm going to give you a wave. Hi everybody, I can see you now. And thank you very much to Junior YBA for the welcome back BCO Sangha signs. Those are really nice to be welcome back like that. We're looking forward to, we have some people here today and hopefully more people. We still got to be careful. Keep an eye out for announcements, for the emails and everything. The pandemic is not over. It's always changing, right? But hopefully we can keep doing this and keep gathering together and hanging out. So let's conclude the Dharma talk with Kansho. Persons of the Pure Land tradition attain birth in the Pure Land by becoming their foolish selves. The words of Honen Shonin, reported by Shinran Shonin, our founder. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Oh, we have a special guest today. I'll just point out Reverend Yamaoka. There he is. Oh, Sensei, wave. There he is. Even people online could see him. And For announcements, next week we'll have Dharma Family Service here. We'll also have Shotsuki here. So it will be online, but in the past I've been recording it. But we'll be having it at 11:30 a.m. We will send you the email about it. But for people online, if you've watched the Shotsuki, it will stream like this live at 11:30 and then be available to watch. April 10th is going to be Hanamatsuri. And I think the plan is to be able to have it outside so we can have more people come. And we're adjusting the format and everything. We're still experimenting. We're going to try to have it, we're going to turn it 90 degrees. And we'll try to have it so that we can have more sun. So you can sit warmer, right? Because it was pretty chilly last week, and it's kind of chilly today too. So 2 weeks from now, who knows? But we are going to have our Hanamatsuri service. Our special guest is Shirley Muramoto. So she'll be performing and speaking, presenting after the service part, kind of like last week with Donna Yokomizo, which was really wonderful. We have you've gotten the email about the steak bento, right? So get those orders in. The deadline is coming up soon, but I think there's still, we still have some left. So that is, go to the website, BuddhistChurchofOakland.org. And as usual, go there to check for updates. And you can also go to the Buddhist Churches of America website and look at events there. So this will conclude our service. So why don't we conclude with Kansho one more time, reciting the name of the Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Okay, Steve's going to play us out. We're going to, we'll get the organ live next week. We got to run a few more cables here, but Steve will be playing, and we're going to stop the stream. So goodbye to everybody on YouTube. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, everyone. And I guess we just kind of asked, let's go downstairs, and we'll go back to the foyer and the